Bada bing, bada boom. You know what it is. The Geeks are back, baby. We got a big old fight week ahead of us. UFC 283 going down in Brazil. The Geeks are all over it, man. We're here to make some picks and predictions. Every single fight on the entire card, from the prelims to the main card. We're going to start from the bottom, work our way to the top. Let's go. Prelims edition. First fight of the night. Wasting nobody's time, getting right into it. We have got Daniel Marcos coming out 13-0 against Simon Oliveira, 18-4. Simon is going to be 0-1 in the UFC after a Contender Series win. And Daniel Marcos is going to be making his UFC debut after getting his contract. Definitely impressive on the Contender Series, as was Simon. But, I really am going to like Daniel's pace in this fight. I think Simon's a guy that's, definitely dangerous. I think he definitely at times is going to be, scrambling on the ground and throwing up submissions, which is like his game. He's a very good submission artist. But Daniel Marcos is just one of those guys that's really well-rounded, and he could push a really good pace for 3 rounds, and he's always looking to damage the opponent. Dana White liked him. He went to a decision on the Contender Series, so that just tells you, he really likes the pace. So I'm taking Daniel Marcos to kind of gas him out. I could even see him getting a late finish in this fight, but I think the safe pick is going to be Marcos by decision. So that's what I'm going to take in this bantamweight scrap to open the night. Goosey, what are you taking?
Same wavelength. I think Marcos is going to probably win these striking exchanges on the feet. He likes to play the distance game. He gives a good teep to the body, and I think that will keep Oliveira off of him in this one. Oliveira, if he's going to win, he's going to need to get it on the ground. He's going to need to be throwing up submissions, and I don't know if his takedowns are going to be enough. We've seen Marcos go out. He had a good fight. It was a pretty good pace. He pushed for 3 rounds. Oliveira, on the other hand, on his Contender Series fight, he won a close split decision and then got taken down 11 times and was trying to throw up guillotines. I didn't love the fight IQ I saw from him. He was really accepting bottom position in that one, and I don't think that he will be able to get top position, work the submissions like he wants. So I'm going to pick Daniel Marcos to get it done by decision.
Let's go. Dano, what do you got?
I like Marcos, pretty much everything that you guys have already said. Wasn't a huge fan of Oliveira, and I just know Oliveira is a small dude. So I think Marcos will just be a little too much for him. I like the undefeated record. Oliveira's kind of got a little too many losses for how new he is, to where I can't really see him being too much of anything in the UFC, to say it lightly. So I'm gonna ride with Marcos.
Fair enough. Front kick. What's going to be your take on this one?
I'm riding with Marcos as well. Underdog pick. I had him at plus 150. But yeah, Simon Oliveira, more of a grappling oriented guy. He has got a couple knockouts on his record, but most likely to win by sub or on the ground control. But yeah, if I'm on the way with you guys. If Daniel could just keep it standing up, stuff some takedowns, I think he's going to have his way with the hands. So yeah, I'm going to ride that.
Let's go. That's the underdog pick at plus 145. Simon returns at minus 175. We're going to move right into the next fight. We have got another bantamweight scrap. We've got Luan Lacerda, 12-1, Brazilian, coming out against Cody Stamann, 20-5-1. Cody Stamann's going to be a big favorite on the betting odds here. I'm looking at it. Cody Stamann is minus 335. Luan is going to come back at plus 260. Luan's going to have the crowd rooting for him. He's going to have everybody with him, It's going to be interesting. Everyone, we know Cody Stamann, he had to bounce back in that last fight. Luan looks like he's coming off LFA. He's got 2 finishes. Really likes the rear naked choke, guillotine choke. So he's more of a grappler in a sense. We do know that Cody Stamann likes to resort to his wrestling in a lot of these fights. He does like to push a high pace. He's only lost to like some seriously good competition. Jimmy Rivera, Marab, Said Nurmagomedov. And then he, bounced back, got that knockout against Eddie Wineland pretty quick. I think this is going to be a really good scrap. I think that this is kind of a coin flip. I think that if you're wagering, I think that Luan's definitely a live dog in this. But I think that, the experience is going to kill here, and Cody Stamann should win this fight. But it's going to be hostile territory. This is going to be high stakes. Luan's definitely going to have some gas. Definitely a live dog in this matchup. So definitely one I'll probably stay away from, but Cody Stamann should probably edge this one out. Dan, we'll start with you on this one. What you got?
I'm probably gonna stay away from this one too, but I'm gonna ride with Luan Lacerda just to get a hometown dub. I think Cody Stamann might not be too good in enemy territory. I feel like he's a very emotional guy to where the opposing fans and just atmosphere could get to him to where he's not the Cody Stamann that we've seen in his past couple fights, because he did look good against Wineland. But I think Lacerda will get the advantage over him in this one.
True enough. Goosey, what do you got?
I'm actually going to be right there with you guys. Lacerda is going to be the pick for me. Originally, I thought Stamann, but just off the experience, and I like his boxing, his wrestling. You dive into his record, though, he does tend to struggle with guys that have really good jiu-jitsu, and that's what I think Lacerda has, because he does like to push that pace. He gets a little sloppy with the wrestling, and he ends up in some bad situations. He really threw himself into a guillotine with Sedner Magomedov, and I think if Luan can give Stamann a little bit of something to think about on the feet, he will end up throwing those takedowns, and that's going to play right into Lacerda's game plan. He's going to have the crowd behind him, and he's a big underdog. Not a lot of tape for Stamann to study. He's had a couple fights in LFA, done well in all those fights. That's a good league. I think he'll be able to come into the UFC and really get going here. So I'm going to pick Luan Lacerda to get a submission victory.
Let's go. And front kick, what do you got here?
What worries me about this fight for Luan Lacerda is he going to be able to get Cody to the ground and hold him there, or be there long enough to grab a sub? But I'm riding with Cody on this one. I think he's going to be able to stay off the ground, put his hands to use. But this dude Lacerda is nasty. 10 out of his 12 wins by sub. So definitely could see some shit like Said happening. Just grabs the neck and arm, anything. So that's what worries me. But I don't think Luan is going to have an opportunity to hold Stamann or be up. I think Cody's just going to keep it on the feet and try to stay away from him as long as possible. So, yeah, give me Cody on that one.
Let's go. All right, moving right into the next scrap. We have got a featherweight scrap here. It's a female boot. We've got Josiane Nunez coming out against Zara Farn. Josiane Nunez 9-1, Brazilian, and Zara Farn's going to be 6-4, French. Both strikers, and this one's interesting, man. These girl fights, I think I usually have good reads on them, and they usually just come back to, hit me in the face. But looking at this, man, this is kind of like picture perfect for a Josiane Nunez knockout. I mean, looking at her record, she is 9-1. She's only lost to Tyla Santos in 2013, and she gets knockouts. I mean, this girl puts chicks away. And Zara on the other side is 36 years old. She likes to strike. Her last two fights, she got strangled by Megan Anderson and who was the other one? It was Megan Anderson and Felicia Spencer. So she's had a rough run in the UFC. She's 0-2. On the other side, Josiane Nunez is 2-0. So, I mean, everything just points to Josiane Nunez putting this chick away. Because, I mean, Zara likes to stand. She's old. She's been beat up. Josiane puts chicks away. She's young. She's on a run. So, I'm not trying to think too hard on this one. I'm take Josiane by knockout. What do you got, front kick? Lead us off on this one.
No, yeah, I'm taking Nunez in this one. Same reason. The only loss to Santos is means something. So, but yeah, I mean, go for the knockout and juice it up a little bit. But yeah, the thing with Zara, the other thing I was gonna say, the strike differential it's bad.
It's bad. We'll leave it at that.
All right, Goosey, what do you got?
All right, yeah, you guys you guys have pretty much said it. I think that this is very interesting matchmaking from the UFC. Typically, see fighters on similar trajectories fighting. Zara Farn seems to be going down, and Josiane Nunez is on the come up here, undefeated in the UFC. And to me, this kind of feels like what the UFC was doing with Molly McCann in London. They were definitely giving her good matchups, trying to build up a women's fighter and give her a matchup that she can go out and do some damage in. I think Josiane Nunez does go out and do some damage, and I'm guessing second round TKO, maybe a first, but I don't think this one sees the third.
Let's go, Dano. Wrap us up.
Clean sweep. I'm really not thinking about it too much. Nunez probably inside the distance. I don't think Farron's at the point of her career where she's really going towards anything, kind of just collecting a paycheck at this point.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, fighting for her UFC career, but we'll see how it fares, how it pans out at 36 years old in enemy territory. We're moving into the next boot. We've got a welterweight scrap. It's Warley Alves, 14-5, Brazilian, coming out against Nicholas Dalby, 24-1. This is going to be a good scrap. Dalby always brings the action. You want to talk about pace. You want to talk about volume. We're talking about Nicholas Dalby. Warley Alves does, gas out a little bit. I mean, that's kind of been the knack with him. He's got knockout power. He's got crazy jits. He's, dangerous ass dude, but, he definitely gets tired. So I'm going to take Nicholas Dalby to gas him out in this fight. Maybe win by late finish or decision, but this guy's pace is just ridiculous, and it goes to show he snuck a decision from D-Rod, and then you got Warley Alves that's dropping big fights where he's big favorite. So you never know what you're gonna get with an Alves performance. Dalby is the complete opposite. So I'm gonna take what I know I'm gonna get, and that's a lot of volume. Give me Dalby in this matchup. What do you got, Dano?
I like Dalby as well. I'm just looking at the records, and Dalby, he did have that 3-fight skid in his career, but he has been bouncing back. And then over on Alves' side, he's just kind of alternating wins and losses right now. And what's really sticking out to me is the most recent loss to Jeremiah Wells, who I believe Dalby's a better striker than Jeremiah Wells. He also got put out by Randy Brown on the ground. That's a pretty cool loss. I think Randy Brown's pretty dope. And then James Krause knocked him out. So I feel like just Dalby's a very good striker. Experience is there from Dalby. Resume is there from Dalby. I just think, unless, like we were talking about early on, if with Cody Stamann, how I think the atmosphere and fans will get into Cody Stamann's mind. As long as that doesn't happen to Dalby, I think Dalby's got this one.
Okay, for sure. Fishman, what you got?
I'm riding Nicholas Dalby in this one. The odds I had him at was Alves was at minus 115. Yeah, Dalby was at minus 105, but I'm taking Dalby. And he's never been finished before. And on the other side, Warley has. So give me Dalby, baby.
Let's go. Goosey, what do you got?
I'm gonna be on the other side. I'm gonna pick Warley Alves in this one. I think he's better everywhere, on the feet, on the ground. I'm a little worried about the pace, but then again, when I watch Nicholas Dalby fight, he kind of has that mental toughness cardio where his body does give out on him, but he pushes through it, because he's breathing heavy. He doesn't move necessarily like quick in the later rounds, but he is pushing himself to keep going forward. I think Warley Alves is going to hit him with some shots, get him on the ground in those first 2 rounds, and then probably get a 29-28 decision here. That's what I'm going to go with for Mr. Warley Alves in this one.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, the lines are going to open up right now at Dalby even and Alves minus 120. So let's move right into the next scrap. This one's going to be an absolute firecracker of a banger. Terrence McKinney, 13-4, coming out against Ismail Bonfim, 18-3, Brazilian. This guy's good. I mean, everyone's going to know Terrence McKinney. because Terrence McKinney comes out like a, crazy guy in the first round. But I've heard in interviews, he's already said it, man. I'm going to control my pace. I get tired. He learned from that Dober fight. He's already been back in the octagon since that Dober fight. So he's good, man. He's 28 years old. He's obviously learning on the job. Came out, got that knockout, that rear naked choke, against Eric Gonzalez. And then, you got Bonfima, who's, kind of stepping into deep waters here. But he's fighting at home. So, that's probably the trade-off. He said, I want to fight at home. I don't care who it is. They said, bet that shit up. Here's Terrence McKinney. So I think he's got a live chance in this fight. Here, let me see the odds real quick. See, they've even got it at even money for Bonfim. I do think that Bonfim is going to win this fight. I think that Terrence McKinney is really good because he's so dangerous, and I think that he's going to be pulling up on the gas a little bit, maybe touching the brakes. And I think that's going to work to his disadvantage. I think he might get caught in this fight in some kind of weird submission on the ground. That's just my take. So, Dano, what do you got?
Wow, interesting. I think Terrence, not in the bag, but I think this is all going to be Terrence McKinney, this fight. Terrence McKinney should be riding a very hot streak if it wasn't for the Giga Chad Chin of Drew Dober, who resurrected from the dead and came back to win against Terrence McKinney. But Terrence McKinney looked real good even in the Dober fight. He's been looking good in previous fights. And just Bonfim, I don't know too much about him, but I know I've seen Terrence McKinney on social media. I've seen interviews of Terrence McKinney, and he looks dialed in. And over a lot of lightweights on the roster, I'm going to take Terrence McKinney. So I'm riding with him.
Fair enough. Front kick, what's your take?
My fighter of the week, Terrence McKinney. And I'm riding him because, dude, like Dano said, if he wasn't fighting my personal most improved fighter of the year, male fighter of the year for 2022, he would have been, what is it, 4-0 now. But nah, dude, this dude's got something different in his hands. Like, he touches your chin, you're dropping. And he's got great wrestling background, great jiu-jitsu. Other guy, I think, yeah, he's got good jiu-jitsu, but I don't know if his hands compared to Terrence. So give me Terrence. I think he's going to clip him. And hopefully Terrence, the one thing is he just paces himself, because he tends to just come out and gas the fuck out, let everything he can go, or everything he has go, like in the first. So just pace, touch him up, and do your thing. But let's go.
Let's go. Goosey, what do you got?
I'm gonna take Bonfim in this one. I do like that he has a very well-rounded game. He's getting wins by knockout, getting wins by submission. He put a good performance on the Contender Series. And then he does have those 3 losses, but he lost to the one champion when he was 16 years old in 2011. He lost to another dude who's pretty nasty. And then Money Moicano, he lost to like 9 years ago. And since then, he's been undefeated, and he's still fighting good dudes. I just think that he's pretty hard to hit. He has like an 80% striking defense. That was only in one fight off the Contender Series that the UFC can bring stats from, but he does a good job of evading those big hits. Terrence McKinney tends to go out, throw some bombs early. And I know he's saying that he doesn't want to go out and push a pace, but when you get those Brazilian fans going nuts, the adrenaline dump, I feel like, is going to get to Terrence McKinney, and we could see him starting to gas out in the later rounds. So it's definitely a close fight. I could see McKinney getting it done early, but I am going to take Bonfim in this one.
Let's go. All right, we're moving right to the next fight. We have got an absolute slobber knocker. Jailton Almeida, 17-2, Brazilian, coming out against Shamil Abdurakhmanov, 20-7. This is a heavyweight scrap. I'm taking Jailton Almeida. I think he's minus 1,100 favorite. This is a surging heavyweight prospect. This guy is absolutely putting guys away. Just put away the pleasure man. can't sleep on Shamil too much. I mean, plus 600 is definitely like eye opening. Like, I don't think that he should be like too big of an underdog. This is definitely a step up in competition for Jailton. But I mean, he's 31. Shamil's like 40 something, 43, I think, 41. And Jailton's going up, Shamil's going down. So they're kind of just using him as a stepping stone here in my eyes. I think Jailton's going to do some heavy damage in this fight, and I don't think it lasts very long. So I'm taking Anda and Jailton for show. So Goosey, what do you got?
Yeah, this matchup in pretty much Jailton's matchmaking in his whole UFC career has kind of seemed weird to me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if guys aren't accepting fights with him or what really is going on, but he seems to be fighting guys at way different points in his career than he is. He seems like a surging prospect. He's starting to gain some notoriety, and Shamil, on the other hand, is a 40-something-year-old heavyweight that has been struggling. Granted, he has experience and he does have a little savvy to him. I think the Brazilian Khabib is going to go out and be a little too much for him. That grappling is nasty. I feel like the ground and pound TKO is a better path to victory here, but submission could be live too. Either way, I am going to take Jailton Almeida in this one.
Let's go. Front kick, what do you got?
Yeah, the UFC is handing Jailton a poor 41-year-old man on a 3L streak. You just got to take Jailton by KO or sub. The odds that I had were ridiculous, like minus 900 or whatever. But yeah, Jailton.
Let's go, Dano. What do you got?
Yeah, easy pick. Like how we talked about with Josiah Nunez. In my opinion, I think she's an easy pick to where you really don't have to think about it. I think you guys have said it all, whereas Jailton hasn't really been getting tough matchups, and most of his past UFC matchups have been don't think about it, just pick Jailton. I believe that this one will be another one. Shamil, even if he was younger, we've been talking about his age, even if he was younger, I'd still take Jailton. Shamil has lost recently to the heavyweight GOAT, Chris Daukaus, got knocked out by Daukaus. But I feel like there are some fighters who it's like we could see him going to decision, or we could see him at least lasting 2 late 2, maybe 3 rounds. But with Jailton, I feel like every minute something can happen. He is a finisher. He comes forward, and with him older guy, I really just don't see much hope for him. So I'm riding Almeida, but you got to find a prop because those odds are too nuts.
Facts. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into this next fight. This one's an absolute banger. We got a welterweight scrap. We've got the next brother. We got Gabriel Bonfim, 13-0, Brazilian, coming out against Munir Lazzez, 11-2. Holy shit, bro. These guys absolutely murder people. They love to throw haymakers. Gabriel Bonfim has never lost. They're both 6'1". Bonfim's going to be 25. Lazzez is going to be 35. That's definitely something to factor in here because, hands are going to land on chins. And I'm looking at the odds here. We got Munir Lazzez is plus 150-ish. The return on Bonfim is going to be minus 180-ish. I do think Bonfim is probably going to win this, honestly. I mean, he's so dangerous. I mean, that Contender Series fight was just so awesome. And, I mean, Lazzez, I've seen him, get, body kick KO'd. So it's just the recency bias is kind of playing, but I love these Bonfim brothers off the Contender Series. Usually we're Team Contender Series fade, but I think that, Bonfim's going to be a problem here. Lazzez, does tire out. He did look good in his last fight against Angelus, but he gets tired, and this guy Bonfim is just so dangerous everywhere, and it's hard to not take him. So I'm taking Bonfim brothers for the wins. What do you got, Dano?
I'm gonna ride Munir Lazzez just because I think Terrence McKinney's gonna beat the other Bonfim brother, it's going to get in Gabriel Bonfim's head. He's going to try and maybe do too much. And Lizez, to me, in that Ainge Lusa fight, he really impressed me, really surprised me. In that fight, he was a lot better than I thought he was, and I'm just imagining that he's going to improve from that performance. So if he doesn't, I could see Bonfim getting this one out, but I think Lizez will come out, will impress some people, will improve from his already good last performance. So give me Lizez.
Let's go. Front kick. What do you got?
Yeah, Bonfim needs to get this fight to the ground, but yeah, I mean, age discrepancy. There's he's younger. Lizez older, got more experience. He needs to keep it standing, but I'm gonna ride Lizez in this one, I think. But yeah, I'm give me Lizez. I'm gonna fade the Bonfim. I'm sorry.
Let's go. Goosey, what do you got?
Got to go with Dano on this one. I'm going to take the Moroccan sniper. I'm going to take Munir Lizez in this one. First thing that comes to mind, minus 200, making his debut off the Contender Series. That's a very good fade spot from what I've seen. You know, the last couple years, especially, that has been a brutal spot to be in. And put that aside, statistically, Lizez pushes a little better pace on the feet. You know, it was a quick fight for Bonfim on the Contender Series, but it seems like he does really try and go to that grappling. Lizez has good takedown defense. I think if he can stuff a few takedowns, make this a striking battle, the sniper's going to put some hands on that chin and get his O to go. So I'm going to take Munir Lizez by finish in this one.
All right, we're moving right into the next one. We got a lightweight scrap. Thiago Moises versus Melquizael Costa. 19-5. Moises is 16-6. I'm taking Thiago Moises. These are two Brazilians going at it. Crowd's gonna be going crazy. I think they brought this guy in on short notice. UFC debut type. Gonna be fun, but Thiago Moises is elite in my eyes. I think that he's just a tough ass dude, and he's got a lot of tools, and you have to be a certain caliber of fighter to beat him. And I don't think that this guy is. So yeah, he just lost, last May to a 10-2 guy at LFA. So yeah, I'm taking Thiago Moises here. I think that this is a pretty confident pick. Unless this guy Costa's on some shit I don't know about. But give me that. Goosey, what do you got?
Thiago Moises is going to be the pick for me. You know, he was preparing for a fight against an absolute dog in Garam Kuta Teladze. And I think that he was probably going into this camp knowing he really had to put on for the people. And Thiago Moises is that guy. You know, we've seen him a lot. He seems like a grizzled vet, and he's only 27 years old, so I think that he's going to continue to get better. And if he is improving, keeping working every day in the gym like UFC fighters with a goal are, I think that he'll go out and beat this guy on short notice, making his UFC debut. So I'm going to take Thiago Moises to get it done here.
Dano.
I'm taking Thiago Moises as well, and I'm looking at it from a little different aspect, just in the sense of Thiago Moises. He's been a company guy since his debut. He debuted against Benny Dariush. He's been fighting the who's who. His UFC resume is very, very good with a lot of good names on it. He was originally supposed to fight on this card against Garam. Garam falls out, and I feel like this was more of a short notice fight for Thiago to stay on the card, to where the UFC was like, yo, don't worry, we'll find you someone. We'll let you fight on this card. He is the Brazilian. Of course, he's fighting a Brazilian, but this card is in Brazil, so I'm sure that wasn't too difficult. But I just feel like this wasn't for the prospect. This wasn't a short notice for the prospect. It was, hey, Thiago, don't worry, we'll find you someone. And then who do they find? This Costa guy. I don't know how good he'll be. I've never seen this Costa guy, but I just know Thiago Moises. And that's just from the mindset that I'm coming from, is they're kind of just giving him someone to have a good scrap with in his hometown. So
Yeah, for sure. What are you taking here, front kick?
Yeah, I'm gonna ride Thiago Moises. I'm just gonna ride with what I know. Stick with what I know. So give me that.
All right, for sure. All right, we're moving straight into the next one. This is going to be insanity. Someone's going down in this fight. Gregory Rodriguez, the RoboCop, 13-4, coming out against Bruno Ferreira, 9-0, right off the Contender Series. Holy shit, this guy throws absolute haymakers. I believe they call him the Brazilian Hulk. Dude, dynamite in his hands. Gregory Rodriguez has been sparked, has been hit. We've seen it happen. This is definitely a spot where I could see it happening again. I'm definitely in the middle here. I'm gonna have to see the odds. They're not on Bovada yet, but if they like disrespect this kid in his debut too much, it's definitely worth a dabble. I would say if it's anywhere from like 3 and up, it's definitely worth a dabble because he's going to be throwing haymakers from the jump. But Gregory Rodriguez, if it gets out of the first round, he should be able to handle this kid pretty nicely. Gregory Rodriguez likes to build in fights, so off the rip, it's going to be, as dangerous as it gets for Gregory. Ferreira's winning percentage will be at the highest. And then as every second goes down, he'll just slowly lose winning percentage. And Gregory Rodriguez will probably win a decision if he doesn't get him out of there early. So I'll probably take Gregory Rodriguez as a safe play, but I can so easily see Bruno Ferreira pulling a Jordan Williams and really just popping that chin. So sketchy warning here. I would not parlay anybody in this fight. What do you got, front kick?
I'm riding RoboCop, but Ferreira, I remember a couple months back during the Contender Series, I had picked him for like my fighter of the week, and he showed up. So I mean, it is scary to fade him. Some young 9-0 Brazilian with some pop in his hands when Gregory can be dropped. But I'm gonna ride with RoboCop, and just because I don't know, like you said earlier, I don't know what this guy's got after the first round. So I'm hoping Gregory could just drag it out a little bit, make it a little bit of a war, not get chinned up, and boom, fight's his. So give me that.
Yeah. Dana, what do you got?
I'm loving the late rounds finish from RoboCop, because we've seen RoboCop take damage. In RoboCop's 2 fights ago when he fought Julian Marquez, that was in front of people. I want to say it was the Qatar Emmett card. Crazy audience, crazy fans, packed arena, and he was loving it. So I can only imagine that in Brazil, packed house, he's going to be just juices flowing even more. And for someone to come off the Contender Series and debut against someone like RoboCop, that's a very tough task. So I'm going to go with the more veteran RoboCop to get it done late in the fight.
Let's go, Goosey. What do you got?
I mean, I got to take the guy with the experience that was supposed to fight. Bruno Ferreira stepping in on short notice for Brad Tavares here. I mean, I liked what I saw from him on Contender Series, but I think he fought for like a minute and 19 seconds, and that's not going to be enough for me to say that I think he can realistically go out and beat RoboCop. He definitely has a chance to clip him early, but like you guys said, as this fight goes on, RoboCop's got that XP, and he's got the skills in the bag to do it too. So I'm going to take Gregory Rodriguez here.
All right.
Round two.
All right. For the next one, we got the featured prelim boot. We have got the legend Mauricio Rua, Shogun, baby, 27-13-1, coming out against Ihor Potera, 18-3. Going to be repping Ukraine and Brazil. Dude, Rua's going to get the biggest applaud and the biggest ovation. He's going to have everybody's energy just riding with him. And, I want to pick him so bad, but Buddy is 41 years old. And this man, Ihor, coming off a loss, is going to be, fired up. And he's going to have everyone against him. And that's nothing new. I mean, this guy's from Ukraine. He's going to have his whole country backing him from, way distance, obviously. But, he has his own fight he's putting up here. And this is his fight to win, man. He's 26 years old. He's definitely going to have to, evade the positions that Rua is really good at. And Rua can honestly be a savvy tactical vet on the feet. But Ihor can be that brute, be that guy to land big shots on him, and there's no reason why he can't put Rua away at this point in his career. So give me Ihor here. I think he's minus 220. That's going to be my pick. Dano, what do you got?
I'm all over Pretoria too. I don't love Rua, right? He's got the age. He's had a couple L's in his past couple fights, and he's not really that active in between either. So I think Pretoria, what I'm getting from this fight is major Chris Gutierrez, Frankie Edgar vibes. I hope it doesn't end up that way, but I think that we're gonna let Rua go off into the sunset. I don't know if he's gonna be riding off into the sunset or crawling off into the sunset, but I think this is gonna be it for Rua, and I see this being a very good fight for Pretoria just to get his feet back under him.
Facts. Let's see it. Fishman, what did you take on this fight?
Yeah, I'm hoping Shogun wins. It'll just be we can't see another legend go down. But yeah, I mean it's just a retirement fight. He's the vet. He's got the XP, but he's also 15 years? Yeah. 15 years older. So it's tough. But I'm fading the legend. I'm fading him.
Fading him. Goosey, what's your take on this one?
I'm going to go with Ihor Pretoria here just because he's a 25-year-old dude that made his way to the UFC. But I will say his resume is pretty sus to me. He's got like 2 good wins. Aside from that, he's fighting dudes with a lot of losses and not a lot of wins on their records. But, I mean, Mauricio Hua, we've seen his best days. He hasn't been given too great of performances lately. He starts to gas out middle second round, and then it just kind of limps to the end from there. So I'm going to take Ihor Pretoria to get it done here.
All right. That's the prelims. Wrapped it up. Squared up. Peace. Ooh, geeks are out. Check out the next video. We got the main card scoop coming in hot, baby. Let's get it.